having a solo mustache. It's work. Why did men stop wearing mustaches? I know what you're thinking. I see guys with mustaches all the time. But do you really? You probably see guys with beards who happen to have a mustache connected to the beard. But I don't think you're seeing a lot of solo mustaches these days. When you look back at some pictures in certain generations, you can place exactly when it was. And some of these times would go on for decades. If we look back to the 19th century, from about 1850 through about 1880, it was very popular to wear a solo mustache. I'm talking everyone, no matter if you were young or old, the minute you could start growing a mustache, guys were wearing a solo mustache. And it went on for 3 generations. Fast forward, men started wearing a full beard, and then they started shaving around World War I. They would continue to be shaved for the most part, with the exception of the fashionable set would start wearing pencil mustache. And you would see that from the 30s and the 40s, sometimes into the 50s, but right around the golden age of Hollywood, men were sporting that very distinctive Clark Gable pencil mustache. We have our own Carlos there showing you how to get that look. But once again, it became a very signature look for a certain period of time. In this case, it lasted a little longer. So why do trends in the past last particularly long? And then we're moving into the 20th century, and those trends are a little shorter. It actually has much to do with mass media. Back in the 19th century, it was via newspaper that things moved, and via people seeing people in person. Fashion took much slower to get a hold of the population and for people to adopt it. Moving into the 1930s and 40s, you have movies, and therefore you have people for the first time seeing in mass a greater amount of people. You also had the introduction of color magazines, and once again, more media meant that were more ways of seeing people sporting those new styles, and they caught on. People started shaving World War II, it seems, and then in the 50s and onward, men were clean shaven. They smooth-faced. Yeah, you had a little counterculture in the 60s, but it was usually a mustache associated with a beard. Not so much a solo mustache in the 60s. You would see that mustache on everyone, especially in Hollywood and on television. And once again, another means of media presentation, which got people faster involved in trends. In the 80s, you have Tom Selleck, you have Sam Elliott, you have Kurt Russell, all sporting very distinctive, strong mustache shapes. And I have to say, it was really popular where I came from. I was already in college at the time, but I would go home. My uncles, my father, my cousins, everyone was sporting a solo mustache. It would take until about 2010 for the mustache to once again appear. And this time it appeared in the form of the handlebar. Came very popular among the barista set, the bartender set, and your average Instagram poster. It was at this time in around 2010, 2012 that I would attempt to grow my first mustache. I jumped on the train and grew a handlebar mustache. And I would wear that for about 2 years. I was really inspired by the likes of Greg T. Brown, Nathan McCullen. They were very popular on social media. And what does this do? It helps to advance trends, but it also makes them move even faster. That solo mustache trend didn't really last that long, and it was actually conquered by the beard. I don't see a break to the beard, as we've talked a lot about on this channel, which is great for Beardbrand, but for the most part, guys stopped wearing the solo mustache and were sporting full beard or smooth face. So why aren't guys embracing the solo mustache today? I think that there is just a preference for the beard. A lot of people love having a mustache when it's connected to having a beard. A lot of women report that they like guys with full beards as opposed to just the solo mustache. I actually think the solo mustache takes more work. A lot of guys aren't interested in spending that much time. Yeah, we care about our appearance, we care about our haircuts and our beard shapes, but grooming a beard once a month, or going to the barber every 2 months to have your beard shaped up. Maybe you do some lining work on your beard every 2 weeks. Having a solo mustache, it's work. When I wore this handlebar mustache every day, I had to style my mustache. If I'm keeping my mustache short, like it is today, like it has been since Christmas time, that involves cutting my mustache 3 times a week. Honestly, I think most guys, I'm not going to say they're lazy, but they're going to take, maybe an easier route. The beard is an easier route. So I'm going to say that's why guys aren't wearing a solo mustache today. There is also the issue of, do you have the face to wear a solo mustache? Any guy can wear any facial hair he wants, but I really think guys who have really strong jaws, look in the past, look at your Clark Gable, look at your Tom Selleck, those guys, they have very firm jaws. A lot of guys are saying, if I'm going to present that much of my face and have this much of a statement on it, I'm going to actually probably want to have a really good, strong jaw to go along with it. Those are my reasons why guys aren't wearing mustaches today. People have a preference over the beard, and I think that's people who admire beards as well as guys who are wearing them. It is easier to wear a beard as opposed to wearing a solo mustache. If it's anything, there might be a micro trend happening for a mustache, but I don't think it's going to take the hold of what the beard has had for the past 15 years. I actually do think you see a lot of guys wearing a solo mustache. We have guys from Beardbrand wearing solo mustaches looking fantastic, coupled with some scruff, which makes it a lot easier. When you actually have a solo mustache, it involves almost daily shaving if you just want to have a solo mustache. Mike from Beardbrand having a solo mustache, here's examples of current guys picking up on that Top Gun style. And then you have people in pop culture right this very minute. You have someone like Benson Boone, who is on fire, just recently seen in Coachella and at the Grammys, sporting a solo mustache. And he is only 22 years old. You can see older pictures of him where his mustache wasn't as strong. It has gotten better even in the past 2 years since he was discovered, and I think it'll get even stronger. But once again, guys want to have a very significant mustache before sporting a solo mustache. Do you have enough hair on the top lip to wear a solo mustache? It doesn't have to be perfect, but there seems to be a preference for having a little more facial hair on the lip before you go solo mustache. So that's it. Those are my reasons for why guys are not wearing the solo mustache today. Will that change? Sure. Do I think that guys will be embracing like an entire generation of solo mustaches? I don't see that happening, for some of the reasons I laid out there. I think there might be a preference in the future for shaved. I think bearding is going to be around for a bit. I think you're going to get some ultra fashionable or some forward-thinking guys who want to wear the solo mustache. That may happen. Would you do that? I'm really considering shaving to see what I would look like now with this face at this age, with this hair color, with a solo mustache. Who's with me? Will you take a challenge? You actually go ahead and try the solo mustache? What do you have to lose? You have 2 months of growth time. Most guys can grow a full beard back in 8 weeks. It's really not that amount of time. And the amount of guys who actually say, I'm going to cut my beard short and have long beards and cut it up to here, that's not short, guys. Shorter. So will you join me?